God rewards faithful obedience. I want you to get it in your head. God rewards faithful obedience. He will provide, He will protect you, and He will fill your life with purpose. Hey guys, Alyssa here, and I am back with another quick word about obedience. So today I'm in Genesis, the very first chapter of the Bible, the very beginning. Genesis chapter 6. And what I'm talking about today is verses 9 through 22. I encourage you to read that at some point. But right now, I'm just going to talk about it, right? Because I want to draw it back to obedience to God and also provide some lessons on obedience that are highlighted in Noah's story. And I feel like these lessons can benefit us even in 2025. They can benefit us on our walk with God. All right, so the story of Noah, it was a time of great wickedness on earth. God decided to send a flood to cleanse the world. Okay? He decided to send a flood to cleanse the world. Noah was a righteous man. Okay? He walked faithfully with God. So he wasn't an issue for God. And so God gave Noah a special assignment. He gave him detailed instructions to build an ark to save his family and 2 of every kind of animal. Okay? Though there was no sign of rain, Noah obeyed exactly as God commanded. He built the ark. Now, this took him many years, and he endured a lot of social ridicule and criticism and all these things. I don't know if you guys saw the movie of Noah with, I can't remember his name, but that famous actor. Like, people were getting violent and aggressive with him. Like, he had to fight off so much. It was so much going on, so much pushing against him. It's like warfare, like how we battle spiritual warfare nowadays. Noah had to battle so much in the natural and spiritual to get this done. But he did it. He endured. I do feel like God helped him to endure. Okay. When the flood waters came, because eventually they did, just like God said they would, they came. And Noah's obedience led to the preservation of his family and the continuation of life on earth. That's a heavy assignment, but his obedience allowed him to carry that weight of that heavy assignment pretty smoothly. Okay. Even with all that he went through, the plan worked out. So he preserved not only his family, but life on earth continued. Okay. So many animals that were able to continue because of Noah's obedience. After the flood, God made a covenant with Noah, signified by the rainbow. Okay. The rainbow. In Genesis, he made a covenant with Noah and with mankind in Genesis that he would never destroy the earth in this way again. And he used the rainbow to signify that promise. Now, 4 lessons on obedience using Noah's story as the example. All right. Number 1, obedience requires faith. Noah obeyed God even when there was no visible evidence of a flood. I think during the time the people were in a drought. I think that's what was going on. Like, it was hard to get water. So this guy comes along talking about, oh, I'm gonna build an ark because there's gonna be a flood. I mean, you can understand why people would look at him like, come again? Say what? You know, especially people who aren't even operating in the fear of God. Like, they don't respect or reverence God. They're not paying attention. So true obedience often means trusting God. Okay? Trusting God beyond what we can see, beyond what we can understand. And that is representative of our faith in God. Okay, we walk by faith and not by sight. So in this situation, Noah walked by faith and not by what he could see or what his human brain could understand. He walked by faith in what God was telling him, what God was leading him to. And a lot of times we have to do that too. We walk by faith because we know that our vision, and I'm talking like spiritual vision, and even in the natural, what we can see for ourselves, it can often be short-sighted. Or even if we see far, we don't see all the steps that are realistic and that it will take to get to where we see ourselves. So it's only so far we can see. So really the only one who truly knows is the Lord, okay? Because he is the beginning and the end, Alpha and the Omega, okay? The God who is, was, and is to come, okay? Omniscient, omnipresent, okay? Creator of time and space and creator of all, who holds all power in just one of his hands. He is the only one who can truly see. And having faith that his intentions for you are good, and he wants the lines to fall for you in pleasant places, and ultimately he wants to get the glory out of your experience and things like that. That helps us to walk in faith, so that even if the path God is leading you down feels uncomfortable, or it feels unfamiliar, or you can't fully understand it, even though that might be the case, we still are obedient. It's still important to be obedient to God. Why? There is peace, there is fulfillment, there is so much that comes from being obedient, okay? There is so much that can occur from being obedient to God, including a deepening of relationship with him. All right, number 2, obedience can be costly. Like, obedience doesn't always mean that everyone's gonna love us and we're gonna like immediately make a ton of money. And if I'm obedient to God, I'm gonna be on a yacht in the Maldives next week off the coast of Italy. Like, that's not the case, okay? Obedience can cost us some of the things that we might aspire to that are in this world, that are in the natural, okay? Like friends and convenience and sometimes even money. Like, obedience can cost us, but we have to have faith that God will provide. So even if it costs us, like, I've heard stories of some people saying that God told them to leave their jobs, and they're like, okay, they didn't have a full picture or full understanding of what the next step was going to be. But God ended up providing something greater than they even had planned or had imagined. And I'm not telling you to do that. You have to go to God. But obedience can cost, but eventually we will reap the benefit of that obedience. Noah, when he was being obedient to God, he was ridiculed. He was criticized. There were like aggressive, violent attacks against him and his family. Like, what are you doing? We got to figure it out. He was isolated for building this ark. Like, people looked at him as like, oh, this is that crazy guy. Like, no, stay away from him, or go and try to attack him and steal what he has. Like, he faced a lot for building this ark. Following God's commands might not always be popular. It might not always be comfortable. It might not always be convenient, but it's worth it. It is worth it. Number 3, obedience involves precision, okay? Noah followed God's instructions for building the ark to the T. He followed the detailed instructions exactly. We don't want to be in a position where we are saying, well, I'll be obedient to God, but we're taking shortcuts. We're like, Lord, I'll do some of what you say, but then I'm also going to do what I feel is best in the midst of that. Obedience to God, it means paying attention to the details and not taking shortcuts. God is detailed, okay? If you're here watching me and you're listening, you're trying to learn to apply God's word to your life and learn to develop a deeper relationship with God, then you understand that God is detailed. Look at creation. So many details that go into every aspect of creation. Just spend a little time looking up different animals and whatnot, like all the various aspects of these animals, all the various aspects of like plants, all the detail in humans. Like, there is so much detail involved in creation. God cares about the details, okay? Quick pivot to a story about someone in the Bible who was only partially obedient to God. Okay, so In 1 Samuel chapter 15, the Bible tells a story about Saul, who was king. He was king for a long time, but this is towards the end for him because what he did upset God, and he ended up rejecting him after this. So, through the prophet Samuel, God gave Saul a clear command. Here it reads as follows. 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 3. Go and completely destroy the Amalekites, men, women, children, infants, cattle, sheep, camels, and donkeys. Clear instruction. Sounds a little harsh, but clear instruction, okay? Saul led the Israelites to victory, but he ignored some key details, okay, on purpose. Instead of fully obeying God, he spared the king of those people, and he kept him to parade him around as a trophy and to be a symbol of their victory over these people. So he's parading, he killed all these people, but he kept their king to parade the king around like, hey, we have victory over these people. Look, we have their king. And then he kept the best of their sheep and he kept the best of their cattle. He killed the rest, but he kept the best, okay? And God was not happy with this, not at all. And so the prophet that gave him the clear instruction from God, he went to confront him. And when he confronted Saul, he went to justify his actions, okay? He's like, well, this is why I figured my will be better than God's will. He's like, I was going to sacrifice this livestock to God and trying to make these excuses, but God was not happy with that. And Samuel says to Saul, so 1 Samuel 15, verse 22, does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the Lord? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. So basically, God is telling Saul, do what I said to do. Don't come up with what you feel would be better when I am the great I am. If I tell you to do something, don't come up with something that you feel would be better out of disobedience, out of rebellion, and go with that. Do what I said to do. So from there, God feels like he can't trust Saul, and he rejected him as king. So there is a level of humility and there is a level of surrender that goes into obedience to God. We can't feel like we have the answers more so than God. Oh, I know what to do, or this will be a little bit better. I'm going to just go ahead and do this over what God is telling us, because that will lead us down the wrong path. Okay, that will lead us right down the wrong path. All right, and finally, number 4, obedience leads to blessing, okay? Because Noah obeyed God, God preserved his family. God made a covenant with him. God rewards faithful obedience with protection, provision, and purpose, okay? God rewards faithful obedience. And I repeated that because I want you to get it in your head. God rewards faithful obedience. He will provide, he will protect you, and he will fill your life with purpose. Okay? He will allow you to operate in that purpose. Okay? That is so important. God will reward faithful obedience. So, to wrap up, even when we don't fully understand, even when it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar, it is important to be obedient to the voice of God, to God's will for your life. Okay? All right, everybody. I encourage you to like this video, share it with someone who you feel can benefit from this video, and also make sure you're subscribed because I'm putting out more and more stuff. I'm going to be posting weekly. We're going to have weekly Bible study. We're talking about the Word of God and how to apply it to your life and how to go deeper in relationship with God.